the number of people around him who know about the real nature of what we blindly call death, if they are present around him, it helps him a lot. Soft music and the absence of noisy sounds will also help him. And mainly bringing to his recollection the sentences which he valued most in life. That helps a lot. You see how a block of ice is formed on the surface of water, and when it melts away completely into the water, where does it go? And now, if part of it melts and again it takes some more ice around itself, such a thing is possible in death. There are two types of death among the dying beings. One is complete death, the other is incomplete death. When all the layers, grosser and subtler, are totally decomposed, then it is the total merging of the limited consciousness into the total consciousness. But when the merging is only half, then the spark of individual consciousness that is evolving through thousands of years, through all the stages of the mineral, plant and animal and human kingdom, it suspends to take the next stage of evolution, and it again comes down into mind and matter. Imagine the case of a banyan seed. What is it that is germinating from the banyan seed once again into the banyan tree? It is the banyanness or the nature of the banyan tree that is concealed in the seed. Similarly, the seed of all our nature till today, which carries the story of our evolution from the beginning, will survive as the spark of consciousness. It exists as the seed coat around a seed. But the seed coat is not the seed. There is something more important within the seed coat. That is what we call the pure spirit in us, the God in us.
Dieu en nous.
Just as the space in this room exists as the outer space itself. Before this room is built, this was the original space. And in space we build the room, and in the room we see a separate space. But in fact it is the original space which is unchanged. Similarly, the seed in itself contains the original omnipresence, which we call space. When the seed exists in space, space exists in the seed to germinate into its own tree. The seed is only a vehicle or a mechanism to make this space germinate into a tree. Ordinarily speaking, space cannot germinate into any being. But the space in every seed germinates into its own being. And this germinating part is the one who takes the rebirth. Rebirth is different from reincarnation. Rebirth is a necessity of the psychological unsatisfied desires. It is a compulsory birth, whereas reincarnation is something different. reincarnation belongs to the evolution and nature. The evolution in nature. Whereas rebirth belongs to the psychological mechanism which dies with the body without realizing the ideals or desires. So, once again, it takes a body out of the conditioning of the desire. This is called rebirth. Whereas the journey of the inner consciousness through the course of evolution is called reincarnation. It is a little bit involved subject and it requires some more explanation. I recommend you a few pages in a book. You please go through them. The book Ponder on This. That is a collection of subjects from the 24 volumes of Alice A. Bailey. In that book, you try to study 4 or 5 times the chapter on reincarnation. That will give you the correct and precise and scientific explanation. Because the subject is dealt with many mistakes and misconceptions and much emotion by many theosophical authors. First, the soul enters the father and it lives with him for 6 days. On the 7th day, it enters the mother's womb. Generally, much study and experience is required to visualize this aspect. And the procedure one has to adapt to give a spiritual evolution to the child in the womb of a mother, it includes many scientific instructions. You will know it when you come to India. Because you are going to be there sometime, you will know it. The time is not sufficient now. And the age has not attained by you now.